recording and then we'll get started.
Mhm.
So we're good?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, excellent. Oh, welcome to the Talk to Danielle podcast. I am your host, Danielle C. Baker, and today I have a very special guest. Really excited to have him on. I have Carlos Kyles with me this afternoon or this evening, depending on where you are when you're listening to this podcast. And Carlos has a really great story that I've asked if he could come on to share. I had kind of called this episode Harnessing Your Superpower because when he was telling me his story, he's basically explaining it the way that I like to explain it to children as well when they're looking for their superpower and then their contribution to the world. So thank you very much, Carlos, for joining me and agreeing to get on the show.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And if can you just briefly, I don't like to read people's quick bios, so I prefer it when it comes from the person. So can you just briefly share your story with the audience?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Growing up, I was bullied. I got called names. I got rejected by the girls, and on a regular basis, somebody wanted to punch me in the face, and that was just high school though. Like I went through that a lot. Got told I can't dance, which that started in middle school because it was that night out. I really wanted to dance, but I got booed, called names, and some young ladies though. I mean, I gotta give it to the young lady though. Like they were really good. I gave them their props, and they said that you're not raw, or that was just another way of saying you can't, dance, or you ain't got no skills and stuff like that. But the bullying started earlier than high school and middle school because it started in elementary school. Like I remember kids though calling me retarded, calling me slow, ugly, making fun of how I walk and stuff. And oh boy, and when I was stutter and things like that, I got, called names for that. Or as the cool kids would say nowadays, I got, you know, roasted for things, like that. And I would say that over the years though, all the years of being bullied and experiencing rejection though, I'm not gonna lie though, it caused me to have like anger problems, low self-esteem. My confidence though was just, right down the pipe and things like that. And even as an adult though, it got to a point to where it really affected me like in certain ways and things like that. But I will say that there were some victorious moments, and it started at one point like in college because it started with a friend of mine teaching me how to dance. Because hey, I'm the guy that was always told you can't dance, so they always laugh at me when I dance. So I got taught how to dance, and it paid off because when I was at Alabama State University and during the freshman talent show, I was dancing and stuff, and I got really, got cheers and stuff. And I love using wrestling analogy. So I felt like the John Cena of dancing though, kind of, because out of all the participants, I got the biggest cheer, or as they say in wrestling, I got the biggest, pop. And that was the beginning of me though, being like the face of dance though, at Alabama State and being one of the most respected and popular dancers there. And my biggest moment, or in wrestling terms, my biggest pop was at the BET Black College Tour. They came to Alabama State. They had the Dougie contest where it was a Dougie contest where I was like, do the Dougie and you pop your collar. That's how the dance would work. And I'm a small town country boy, so I was dancing against guys from Atlanta, New York, Chicago, places where some of the best dancers in the world will come from. But out of all the different dancers, the small town country boy from Central Florida won. So there was a season where, I got a big pop and a big push in the dance though department. And even though I still went through some more years though of bullying and being called names, it took a long time for me though to heal. But starting around 2019, what helped me to heal though, eventually though, was healing through self improvement and things like that. Especially, and it was after it took me 3 years to get over a girl that I, really liked, and that kind of just, deeply hurt because it made me go back to a time, to where, like when the bullying was at its height and stuff, and it made me feel like worthless and stuff again. But the healing came though, thanks to Jesus and therapy, because when I was focusing on my relationship with Christ and when I focused on healing though, and it was as simple as getting a job and working out in the gym, I felt a whole lot better, about myself. That began my healing. Went to gallery night, and I didn't focus on trying to talk to a cute girl. I just focused on enjoying life, and I felt so much better, about myself. And that'll be the version of my story that I'll give you for right now.
Oh, that's incredible. It's a great story that, through the years you're able to overcome those obstacles and work on yourself to build up that confidence. That is great. I'm curious to know, because bullying is still a very, very sensitive topic, especially in schools. Adults don't really know how to handle it still, and people are still really trying to make a change. But when you were younger, because you did say it started from elementary, I was wondering, how did you register that, uh, back then when it first started, when you were getting picked on and all of that? How could you register that at an elementary school age?
Well, for me, it started off though, like at first I didn't understand. I was like, okay, why is this happening? But the more it started to happen, and I'll be honest, the more it started happening though, the more, I got mad and irritated because as a child during that time, it wasn't making any sense. Like, what in the world did
Mhm,
I do to you? Why are you giving me, like problems? And I didn't understand. And now especially that kind of child to where if I got tired of being like, picked on, I told a teacher and I'm not gonna lie, and I'm human, and as a child though, I got so angry when I got so fed up with it though. I wanted to fight. I mean, don't get me wrong. Now I recognize now I'm the adult though that fighting first or resolving things with your fist first isn't always the best solution. But I do want
mhm.
people to understand though that at first I didn't understand, but it did get frustrated, and then I started reacting in anger, or when I got fed up though, I'm like, man, this has got to stop though. That's how I would react though a lot of times. But there would definitely been days though where I would just, you know, like cry out of frustration as well, because again, I just didn't understand why this happening.
Right. That's right. Is there anything at that time that you wanted to express or say, but you just couldn't, or you didn't know how? Like, did you ever want to express yourself without fighting? Is there something that you would wish you could have been telling somebody to get some help? Somebody to help end this, but you just didn't have the words for it, or you didn't know how.
Well, I I'm glad you said that, because when I look back, there was a lot of times where I wish I would not have, try to resolve my issues though, like with my fist, which I'm not proud of, because
Mhm,
I wish I would have found healthier and more effective ways to not only stand up for myself, but I seen friends of mine though get picked on, and it was some of the most ignorant stuff I ever seen, and I'm gonna own it. There are times I wish I would have found like better ways as well as better strategies though to not only stand up for myself but to stand up for my friend though, to say, hey, maybe I could have intervened and said leave him alone though. Maybe we could have went to a teacher though together or whatever though. Maybe we could have hung out
mhm,
somewhere else though. And if the kids still wanted to run their mouth though, maybe we could have found like a better solution. But when I think about it now though, like I didn't understand. I was struggling with it myself, and the same skills that I'm equipped with now though to deal with it though, I understand now that I wasn't equipped with those same skills though to be like, hey, maybe I can be this person's friend. Maybe I can find ways, to intervene though. Maybe I could have used my martial arts abilities though, to get it though, because I
mhm.
did practice taekwondo like growing up. But as a little kid though, I still thought, hey, it's all about your fist. But don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, I'm gonna tell the truth though. As a martial artist, I would tell anyone that martial arts can be a great way though to deal with bullying. It can definitely teach you effective ways and effective strategies though of dealing with bullying though. Because with martial arts, it not only does it teach you how to punch and kick though, but it boosts your confidence. It teaches you like healthy ways to stand up for yourself, and it teaches you though that when you do put your hands up though, it's strictly self defense though. Like only if you're trapped though. It'll give you more confidence, and you don't gotta be so scared though. Like, what if someone try to punch me in the face today, or what if someone calls me a name and I lose my, temper? Like martial
Right.
arts has benefits. And I wish I would have applied those, skills though, better.
Yeah, but at that age too, it's kind of hard. I'm glad that you mentioned that because hindsight is always better. You know now with the resources that you have and the tools that you have that there's other ways of handling it. But at that moment, at that age, you really don't. So my question is, you did mention earlier that you would tell adults, or your parents or teachers about it. Is there a way when you did? Was there something that you wish the adults would have told you or would have handled things differently to help you out in those types of situations?
Oh, yes, ma'am. When I think about it, I wish my parents and those would have been more understanding. And I say that because I wish they would have just understood though that I wasn't just crying or being mad all the time. Because I do love my parents and I understand that they do the best they can because I come from a family where you're taught to be strong and you're taught to just be quiet and get, over it. But I wish they would understand though that when you're being bullied though, like it causes like anger issues, all types of issues and stuff. And I wish I would have been told a lot more just to be quiet and get over it and not just be seen as, oh, he's just throwing another, temper tantrum. Wow, when I think about it, now though, I wish wow, when I think about it, I wish I could have better communicate my issue with my parents and just told my parents, hey, sign me up for counseling. When I think about it, I wish I would have gotten counseling though as a kid, because if I would have gotten counseling, wow, that could have taught me like the skills I needed though back then, and that would have helped me get a better, you know, issue of the better understanding of the issue though back then, and no doubt my parents though would have, gotten a better understanding of the issue. Like I'm not, angry at them now, and I definitely forgive them
Mhm.
because I understand that they were doing the best they can, and I wasn't just going through a hard time, but man, we as a family was going through a hard time, and it's. But the thing is, though, it's hard to deal with life though when you're not healing properly or dealing with certain issues properly though, and that's true whether you're a child, whether you was a child like me like or a parent though. But I wish I would just
Mhm.
told my mom though that I'm not just being angry though. I got a problem and I just need
Yeah,
help. Or I need better help though.
yeah,
Better help. Like I wish I would have been went to counseling.
yeah, and you really touched an important point there, where you're saying, um, and I think this is the situation that we're having still is adults don't know how to handle it, or they don't know, and we do have that. You mentioned it again, where you're told to toughen up, or people kind of push that away, or they think that you're being emotional about the situation. But we're not talking about a one-time thing here where you just one day people are making fun of you. We're talking about continuous, every day, continuously. It builds up, and those emotions run high. So I'm glad you shared that. It's important for people to understand what goes on inside that struggle that you're going on inside, and you're able to give a voice for children who or even adults who don't have the words for it. Which leads me to my next question, because when we spoke earlier, you had mentioned that you just kind of saw this, eventually you saw this as a superpower, that you have this superpower that you're harnessing and that you're able to help people. And so can you kind of let us know when you started to see what you were going through as a superpower?
Well, I started seeing it because I'm not gonna lie, like I struggle with things like, autism spectrum disorder and symptoms similar to Asperger's. But I
Hmm.
started seeing my powers because I remember one time I was doing like I think homework in the second grade, and my teacher gave me like an assignment, and I got the paper and I did it lightning fast, like in around 5 or 10 seconds, and my teachers though were amazed. There was another moment where I was taking algebra like in middle school, and to me though, math and science did come so easy to me. It math, especially in middle school, came so easy that I mastered algebra in Miss Graham's class, piece of cake. And when I looked at the advanced algebra, it was a piece of cake because I'm like, well, it's advanced, but to me, this is so easy.
Hmm.
And as I got older, though, I started realizing though that when I did my thing as a Christian, especially as I was getting saved and stuff, and when and whether it's that or whether I'm dancing or doing things like that, or especially when I'm dance, people just get so inspired, and there's so many kids that look at me though, and they get inspired and be like, "Hey, I want to be, like him or whatever." Though, and again, I'm gonna use a wrestling analogy because I love wrestling analogies. Like I was looked at though like I was the top baby face of a wrestling promotion, such as The Rock or a Hulk Hogan or a John Cena or something like. And that made me realize that wow, I got the power to be, inspirational, like a top baby face in wrestling.
Yeah, that is amazing. Can you share with us what you're working on now? What kind of work are you? Well, what are you working on right now?
Well, one of my latest projects I'm working on, and it's not out yet, but it's in development. It's a superhero book called Neek Man, and it's based on my bullying story that I just shared. And the main character, his name is Rick Flame, and he eventually discovers that he has superpowers though that's connected with his burgers. It's like his brain is rewired in a way to where it gives him a copy ability, and he copies animals so much that he gains like different animal abilities, though, like the vision of a eagle or the bite of a crocodile, just to name a few superpowers. And the story starts off like this though, like he gets bullied, and then the popular girl rejects him, and then he has a rivalry with the popular boy because he think he has it going on, but he doesn't understand that everybody has a story. But he eventually meets his mentor, who takes him to a Wakanda style like city in Africa, where it's like a city and actual jungle, like combined. Like you could be walking down the street though, and you can see like rhinos and stuff though coming down roads though, like like a car would in New York City. And that's
Yeah.
where Rick becomes Sneak Man because he learns how to be a superhero and a businessman. And when he comes back, he forgives his bully. Him and the popular guy settle their rivalry, and they end up being friends. And Tiffany wants to try to date him then because he has all the money and the business and stuff. But Rick was like, "You can't date me now, too late." And the story is on a cliffhanger. That when he meets his love interest, and that's gonna be the indication that there's gonna be a sequel to this story.
That is incredible. I like how you turn your story into a superhero story. I think that gives it a lot of power, and I just love hearing when you talk about your story. I can see how great this would be. Um, before I ask, I'm going to ask you another question a little bit later on, but I'm just wondering, with the experience that you've gone through and the growth that you've done over the years, is there a message that you'd like to pass along for children who are being bullied? Do you have like some kind of wisdom or inspiration that you'd like to give them, or even with the parents of the children that are being bullied, and what advice you would give them on how they could handle it to help their child?
Well, as a Christian, I'll just start off by saying pray for the bully, and pray for yourself and seek out your healing early on though. Like talk to your parents and get into counseling and get into activities that are therapeutic though. Like learn new skills, sign up for martial arts or sign up for art classes and things. Get a haircut, love on yourself. Get involved with all types of activities that are therapeutic. Go online and Google therapeutic activities, for kids because one of the best things you can do is be a diamond with a story to tell. And you do that though by being the best version of yourself. You can be the best version of yourself though by boosting your confidence, boosting your self-esteem, keep your hair clean and stuff. Be the best, you that you can, be though. You might not be like the most popular girl or boy though in the Neat Man, story, but you can be the best you. Like, I could be the best Carlos, but a child could be like the best Julie though, or the best Bobby, or the best version of themselves though, basically.
Right. No, that's great. That is good advice. It's important to take care of yourself and heal yourself from this as well. So I appreciate you sharing that. Um, I wanted to kind of ask before I ask you how we can reach you. I always ask this one question because this one little girl had asked me this question a couple of years back when she was interviewing me, and I thought I promised her I would ask all the people I interview is, what would you like to be when you grow up?
Superhero and a businessman. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a superhero, and I eventually wanted to get into business. So I would say a superhero who has his own business.
Oh, that's amazing. That is a superhero in itself. When you have your own business, you kind of have to have you kind of have to be a superhero. That's so wonderful. How can people reach you with with the book coming up and some of the new projects so where they can follow you? If you could share that, and I will add them in the comments when we broadcast this podcast.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Well, I got a Facebook and I got a page called Polysaw. It's facebook.com, slash Polysaw. And I also got a page on Facebook called Neek Man Art Gallery. So it's facebook.com slash Neek Man's Art Gallery. And I also got an Instagram, which is Neek underscore art.
That's wonderful, and I'll make sure to put those down when we stream the podcast. We'll make sure we put your contact information so our listeners can follow you and see all the new stuff that you're working on and the artwork. I love it. I've seen what you've posted, and you do some really nice work, and I'm impressed. I just love how you just the 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 pictures that you draw are just really, really, really nice. So I want to thank you so much. And is there any way that your audience can help you with what you're working on right now?
Well, I have a Cash app. It's $ Polysaw Neek Man, and if you like to donate, you're more than welcome to donate, and I'll make sure the proceeds go to the production of the book, and just check out my Facebook because I plan on doing more lives and all types of other events. And when I start doing more like YouTube lives and videos, please come out and support. And if you want to donate to my Cash App, I'll have the link up there as well.
Okay, that's wonderful. Yes, because we all know it takes quite a lot of resources to get a book going. And if you have already thinking of sequels as well, so people can support you that way, that is wonderful. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. And just before we sign off, is there anything else you'd like to add? Any other words of wisdom you'd like to share?
Oh, yes. I would like to say, parents like just understand though that it takes a lot more just to be quiet and get over it. And that's not no offense though to anyone, but just understand though that with bullying, like if you don't deal with it early on or help your child to heal with it early on, though, it can affect them until like adulthood. So the best thing you can do though is just deal with the issue early on, and there are healthy ways though like to deal with the issue, and just understand though that if you notice your child is being like, is having like bad mood swings, or they're always in a bad mood because of always been bullied, though, it's not that because they're in a bad mood, but they're just being bullied, and it's just a cry for help though. And it's just a cry for, hey, I just need help. I just need healing. I just need, therapy.
Yeah, that's wonderful. It's a great message. Thank you again, Carlos. And if for everybody watching, don't forget to look at the comments. We'll put all of Carlos's social media on there so that you can follow him and his Cash App as well if you want to support his book. So I want to thank you again. And until next time, stay safe, stay awesome, and we'll talk soon.
Bye.